Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. You're hanging out with Loretta. So in today's video, I have decided to be spontaneous and try out something new. I am going to attempt to make cinnamon rolls. I have been craving these, and because of lockdown, a lot of shops are closed. Also can't leave the house, so I thought, why not try them at home? I've got all the ingredients here at home. I am going to list them down below, what you need to get, and please let me know if you also try the recipe. So please stay tuned and let me know. I've just added yeast onto this warm milk, and I'm just going to give it a quick stir, and then I'm going to put that on the side. I have 3 cups of flour. I'm just going to add a little bit of salt. I'm really bad with measurements, but yeah, probably about a teaspoon of salt. Right, and just give that a shake, and then I'm going to leave that on the side in a different bowl. I am going to go ahead and mix my wet ingredients. I'm using white sugar on the step. I'm also going to use eggs and butter, and that is a cup of sugar. And I'm adding butter. It's soft. It's been sitting outside for a few hours now, so I'm going to put in 3 full spoons of butter. Alright, and next step will be for me to first, before putting in the eggs, to give that a stir and make sure that the butter and the sugar is combined properly. Alright, so you're looking for something like this. Alright, and then next up will be the 2 eggs. I'm just gonna mix that again and just make sure that there's consistency there. Right, there was an eggshell that I had to move right there. Right, so that's what you're looking for, and then you can take that batter and put it onto your flour with salt. Sorry guys, I have tripod problems, so I have tried other ways to take this video, hence you can see that you're not able to really see fully on the actual plate. I have used some other alternatives to take this video. Right, I'm just giving that a stir. Just make sure everything is combined together. Alright, that looks good to me. I'm just gonna give it a little bit more stir before I can add in my milk. Alright, now I'm going in with my milk. I'm just gonna put a little bit and see how the consistency is like on the dough. Believe it or not, guys, I have never made bread before. This is the first time ever. I may make some mistakes, but yeah, at least I've told you guys I've never ever made bread. My granny always used to do that for us. My dough is soft, but because most of the yeast is in the milk, I just want to add a little bit more milk just so I get more yeast onto the dough. Okay, that looks a little bit loose to me. That is quite loose, so I think I am gonna go ahead and add in some more flour just to thicken up the dough. Just gonna give it a stir before I do that. Alright, so I'm going in with my flour. It's about another cup, so in total I have used 4 cups of flour. I'm just giving that a stir once again and just make sure everything is mixed and is intact. Much better. I'm just going to give it a thorough stir. That's perfect. Alright, I'm just going to set that on the side and I'm going to put some flour on my table just so I can work the dough before I can put it to rest. I've gone ahead and worked my dough off camera. It was a mess, but this is the final product. So I'm going to give this some time to rest for at least 2 hours, and once that's done, I am going to start baking. I'm making my cream. I have butter with sugar already mixed with some cream cheese. I'm just giving that a stir until it's all soft and blended. Once thoroughly mixed, you should have something like this. The consistency should be like this. I am going to leave this on the side. You don't have to refrigerate this. It will stay the same. Even if you leave it outside, the butter will not melt. And it tastes amazing, guys. You must try it as you're making your sauce. Yum. This looks good. All right, and next up I'm going to move on to checking my dough. I've removed the cover that I used before, the towel, because I thought it might actually stick onto the towel, so I used the paper. And yeah, it's actually gone up very well, so I'm happy with that. I'm just going to remove it from the bowl so I can actually just roll it out and flatten it out. Just removing any air that could be in the dough before I roll it out. And I'm I'm just flouring my surface where I'm going to be rolling out the dough so that it doesn't stick onto the actual table. Right, and I'm just gonna press it out first before I can roll it because I want it to have a shape. Right, just flatten it out. I'm also just gonna put some flour on my roller so that it also doesn't stick onto the dough. Just sprinkle it all over. And here I'm just going to roll out the dough as wide as possible and as thin as possible. See, it's still a bit thick, so I'm just going to flatten it out. And my dough is now flat. I can now move on to my next step. So here we're going to need butter, you're going to need cinnamon, and we're going to use brown sugar this time around. Using the back of my spoon, I am going to spread some butter all over the dough. I'm now sprinkling some brown sugar all over the dough on top of the butter. And then I am also going to go in and sprinkle some cinnamon. Right, and once it's done, I'm going to roll it over and using length side. Okay, I'm just folding that and just making sure that it's tight and it will not actually roll out once I put it on the stove. I'm just closing that gap. That's just what I'm trying to avoid, so make sure it's properly tucked in. Just tuck it in again. And I'm just gonna cut that to smaller pieces. Right, then I have greased my pan and put paper, and I have my buns placed properly onto my pan and giving it some space in between. I'm going to cover them up and just let them sit for at least 30 minutes so they can rise a little bit more. Right, after 30 minutes it will look something like this. I'm happy with them. They look a little bit plumpy. Right, this is perfect. I have my stove at 180 degrees. I am going to leave them in there for 20 to 25 minutes. And that is the underneath of my buns. I have taken them out of the oven, and this is the bottom. Yeah. Alright, I did leave my buns in the oven just after I switched it off. Biggest mistake ever made. If you can see, they're a little bit burnt, a little bit dry. Please make sure you remove them immediately from your stove. I'm just now spreading the cream cheese, butter and sugar mixture. I'm just going to spread that out. You don't have to use the piping bag. You could just even use a plain spoon or knife just to put the batter all over. And there you have it. We have nice cinnamon rolls. Please let me know if you tried this recipe, and please don't forget to subscribe. I love you.